This video is sponsored by... Do you need a good service to print your circuit boards? I'm sure PCBWay will have the right solution for you at the best price. They don't only have different kinds of PCB like Flex PCB and Advanced PCB, but now you can get your circuit boards with higher TG at the same price. Imagine that. Remember, PCBWay can help you with many other services. Just go and visit their website and check all that they can do for you. And don't forget that your first order is for free. A typical question from someone starting in the FPV hobby is, which drone should I get? And a lot of people would answer, an Emax Tiny Hawk Freestyle is the right drone to start in the hobby. I kind of agree in the sense that I actually started with that drone. This one is not the original, I modified it quite a lot, but it was the first drone that I used and it was okay, it was fantastic for me to start with that experience. But there are many other good drones to start with, and I'm going to present today the newest GEPRC, the Smart 16, which is kind of in the same family because it's a 2S drone, and it's also a very nice drone to consider if you are starting in the FPV hobby. This is the Smart 16, the newest one in the Smart family from GEPRC. The Smart family consists of the Smart 35, this drone that is here, one of my favorite drones for freestyle actually from my whole collection. Then you have the Smart, which is this one here, and the newest one, the Smart 16. The Smart 16 has some unique characteristics. Even though it's a very small drone, 75mm motor to motor, it still has a full stack in it. What does that mean? Many times when the drones are this small, manufacturers select to have what is called an all-in-one card in it. It's a card that has the flight controller, the ESCs, the VTX, and sometimes even the receiver in the same card. In the case of the Smart 16, you have all those pieces separately. You have one card for the flight controller, one for the ESC, one for the VTX, and the receiver in another card. The benefit of having it like this is that if something goes wrong with one of them, you don't need to change the whole thing. You change only the one that got damaged. Let's say the most typical case is that you're flying, you burn the ESC, and you have to change that. So from the economical point of view, having a stack, it's much better than to have an all-in-one card. There is some people too that says that when you have an all-in-one card, they are normally not that powerful when it comes to the ESCs. It's very easy to burn an ESC when it's like that. I don't know if that's true or not. I would imagine that an ESC this size, this small, it should have the same conditions as an ESC in an all-in-one card. But again, I'm not an expert, I'm not sure about it. But having a full stack can also have a bad side, which is normally the weight. An all-in-one card is only one card with all the components in that, and then you have a lower weight than if you have 3 different cards and a 4th card if you're counting the receiver. But I think in the case of the Smart 16, what they did was to have very small components, the full stack, but pair that with 0803 motors and 2S batteries. The fact that this drone only weighing 35 grams with these motors and a 2S battery makes it a very powerful freestyle small drone. In fact, I'm very tempted to compare this to the Nazgul, the baby Nazgul from iFlight, because they are the same size, they use the same propeller. Pretty sure that many other components are similar, but the Nazgul is a 1S drone while the GEPRC it's a 2S drone. And just because of that, you feel the power on the drone when you are driving it, when you are flying it. Like when you click, when you push that throttle, the drone really goes up and really goes in and do a powerful move. So yes, they are similar because of the shape and because of some components are similar or the same, but I would still consider them 2 different classes. Probably if you think about the battery, then you are putting it in different places. Something where the iFlight wins against the GEPRC Smart 16 is the flying time. And I'm not saying that the Smart 16 has a bad flying time with the 3 to 4 minutes flying time, but what I'm saying is that iFlight and Flywheel with the Firefly Nano Baby, they kind of spoil us because those two drones have very long flight times. The Flywheel drone goes to 7 or 8 minutes, which is something amazing when it comes to time. The Baby Nazgul goes to 5-6 minutes, which is also very good, especially compared to the older 63 version, which was kind of like 2 minutes only. The Smart 16 gives us around 4 minutes. I think you can push it to 5 if you want it. And again, it's not a bad time. Like for a regular drone, almost any drone goes around 4 minutes. Especially if you're thinking that this is a freestyle drone where you're going to be doing things up and down and flipping and those kind of things that gets a lot of your battery. So again, it's not a bad time. But if you want to be just flying for longer times and cruising around, then maybe the Flywheel, Firefly, or even this one, the Baby Nazgul, are better for that. Smart 16 comes with 3 different ways to hold the batteries. It has this strap, which is a regular battery strap that you can have on the top normally. And it comes with these 2 TPU 3D printed parts. The idea is that if you are adding an action camera like a Cadex Peanut to the drone, then you don't have enough space to have the batteries on the top. And you can use one of these parts to just install it and then have the batteries underneath without having to have the strap, which might not have space in this small drone. But if you're not using the action camera, you can have the other plastic part on the top and then carry your batteries there, or just use the strap that you have in the package as well. Talking about batteries, there is something else to say. GEPRC recommends these batteries, the 380 mAh batteries. They are quite small, and I guess that they are recommending these small batteries in order for the drone to have a good weight-power relationship. But I was curious if I could use a bigger battery like this 530 and get more flying time out of the drone. When I tested these ones, even though they are a little bit heavier than the 380 that GEPRC recommends, the fly time was not very different. A few seconds maximum. I wouldn't say even a full minute with these bigger batteries. The weight changed a little bit the characteristic of the flying, but actually in my case, I kind of like it with that added weight that the batteries have. I felt like more in control of the drone, like if maybe it's like you are not as agile with the big batteries than with this one, which might be, it might influence the way that you can do tricks and so on, but I felt more in control of the drones with these batteries. At the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that if you have a bunch of these batteries, you don't need to go out and buy the 380 if you are going to buy this drone. You can fly it with the big ones as well, and probably you won't notice a big change anyway. The other thing that I want to mention about the batteries is that the drone was designed to have these batteries where the connector is attached directly to the battery, like this one, short. The reason is, so you have all these long cables here on the back, and then you bring the cables to the battery in order to have them connected. When you have a battery like this one that has a cable included, you are going to get kind of a lot of cable here on the back of the drone, and you have to be a little bit creative if you're going to do this so the cables don't come to the propeller. One solution is if you're having it on the button, the cables will be kind of pointing down and the propellers are going to actually push the cables out. They won't be pulled into the propellers, which is a good solution. The other one is that if you're having it on the top here, you can wrap the cables around the frame or the standoff here and shorten the cables so they don't get into the propellers. It's not a problem, you can use them, you just have to pay attention to the fact that you're going to have somehow to manage all those cables in the back if you're using a battery like this one with an extended connector. Video range in this drone is actually good. It has a 200 milliwatts VTX, and I was flying around the forest or the park without any problem going far, and I didn't lose connectivity or anything. So for being these kind of drones, I think that's enough. These days it works. The camera is nothing really special, and it's kind of to spec with all these small drones. They don't have a lot of space to have a big lens, so this is what you get. It's analog. Again, nothing bad or too good about the camera. One thing that I've been reading around other reviewers and people using this drone is that they are concerned about the thickness of the arms on this drone. They are pretty thin, to be honest, and people is concerned that they are going to be easy to break in different crashes or in different situations. I have to say that I also think that they are pretty thin, but I have crashed this drone quite often, and very hard crashes, and the drone is still intact. Nothing has happened. Maybe I've been lucky and I haven't hit an arm, but again, I have crashed it many times and I still have the drone and I can still fly it. All in all, I think this is a fun little drone. I love the form factor. I love the fact that you can ask GEPRC to ship it to you with an Express LRS receiver already integrated or already installed in it. I think it's a small drone that if you are starting in the hobby and you want to have something to start learning your freestyle moves, this drone can be very useful for that. It's definitely not a drone that you should be flying indoors because it has too much power. It doesn't have any kind of protection for the propellers. So if you get this, go out, use a lot of space, practice all your moves, and I think you're gonna have a lot of good time with it. Well, this is everything that I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Hope to see you soon, and thank you for watching.